And we know for sure that's 645. Why? We can look at this file and we can make sure that, yeah, the row count says 647. Right, but it is because it includes the footer and the header. So there are actually 645 data rows. Right. So if I look at this file, I know that, okay, there are 645 data rows. So, and there is this last row which says number of rows. So I know for sure that I have received the complete file. Cool, isn't it? Right. But now, if you want to do some transformation, right? If you want to do some more complicated transformation, you cannot do that. You know, custom report transformation, right? Because there are not many options available. If you absolutely want to do, if you want to play around with the data, like, let's say, you want only the first name, you want only the concatenation of first name and last name, or maybe you want to extract the number of years from the years of service, length of service, all those things, if you have to do, is you have to create calculated fields in Workday and use them in your reports. Okay, you have to use them in your report. The other limitation with a custom report transformation is, whatever is your report output. All of those fields will have to be included in the report. Transformation output. You cannot say that, okay, I will only need 1, 2, and 3, I don't need job profile onwards. It is not possible. Right. So you have to include all the fields that are part of the report. Let's see if we can change it right. Let's go here and see if we can edit it. Right. First of all, I cannot edit. So then, what do I have to do? I have to go to the EIB. Right. I have to go to the EIB system and then I have to go to Related Actions and Enterprise Interface Configure Transformation. You see, I don't have the option to delete this. I don't have the option to delete. Let's say I don't want the compensation grade in the output. I don't have the option to delete it. Right. Whatever is there in the report, I have to use all of those fields. Right, but it gives you a lot of control in the UI itself. The control lies in the report. If you want your output in a certain manner, you have to play around the custom report to get the output that you need. Clear. You will use a series of calculated fields to get the data that you would need. Right, that is custom report transformation, very popular with functional consultants. They don't want to do coding. They say that, yeah, we are good with this. Yeah, I'm fine. Right, but the integration consultants? They are expected to be very good and smart with XSLT coding. Okay, so they are supposed to be good with that. So now let me try to find a piece of code that I can use to show you what I mean by this particular XSLT coding and how can we use an XSLT coding in our case. Okay, so I will call it as employee details, XSL, and I'll show that accessibility to you. It just about. So let me open it up in XS in Notepad++ itself. Notepad++ has recently developed very good XML capabilities. Okay. So how to do that? XML capabilities, you'll go to Plugins right in Notepad++. I hope a lot of you have Notepad++ in your system. If you are a Windows user, or maybe even a Mac user, you can easily get Notepad++. Plus, it's a free software, quite popular and very powerful. You go to Plugins, and you go to Open Plugins folder. Okay, and it will search for some existing plugins in your system, and then what we will do is Open Plugins. Oh, sorry, my bad. So I go to Plugins, and where is it? I have to open Plugins folder. I have to install a plugin, basically. That's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, I'll check and then I'll show you how to do this as well. Okay, there is supposed to be an option where you are able to install the plugins right. Maybe it is Windows 11 in my system, so it is behaving a bit differently. So I will go to the Open Plugins folder and you will be able to install a plugin right. You have to search for XML and you would be able to install this particular plugin. So yeah, I'm not getting it. Maybe the menu has changed a little bit, but that's fine, anyway. So here is your file. Okay, here is your file. This is how it looks like. This is also an XML file. So it starts with this particular declaration, XML, version 1.0, encoding UTF-8. So it is able to handle special characters as part of the transformation, because Uniform Text Format or Unified Text Format 8 means it will be able to handle special characters. Okay. Now it does a declaration at the beginning, XSL style sheet. Exclude the result prefixes XSL and then it has to declare the namespaces. Here in XMLNSWD, the WD namespace will have to match the namespace of your report. Remember the report that we have and there is a namespace associated with it, right? Excuse me. So we will go back to that report. Employee details. We will go to our advanced section and here is our namespace. Okay, so this will be our WD namespace. So, in place of the existing one, I will change this to the new namespace. What is the output method? The output method is going to be text, because we are going to have a pipe delimited output. Okay, the variable name. Then we are going to declare a variable called line feed and in that line feed we are going to assign a value called ##xt. Semicolon. ##xa right. Okay. So, although this looks very complicated, this is the XML notation for carriage return line feed. Sounds familiar. Although it looks different. Sounds familiar that this is ##xt and ##xa. This is carriage return line feed. Right. Okay, and then comes a text field, so this is going to be my header. So let me copy over the header from what we were using. The same header. I want to have in my output as well. Okay, I want the same header, exactly the same header. I want. Okay, and then after the header, I want to have a line feed, X, S, L, value of select line feed. So that means, after this particular line, enter a new line just like this. So this is how I am going to make my new file. This will be output, then a new line. Then what are you going to do for each of a report entry? For each of the report entry, every time you have a report entry field, do something right. What is it that we are going to do? Let me remove this double quotes. We don't need double quotes. We are going to select certain values. Okay, we are going to select certain values from the input XML file. Okay, we are going to do that. Now, how are we going to get that XML file? Let me show you. So there are two ways of doing it. One is you get rid of the transformation, right? Let me go to the EIB. Remember the first output that we created? It was an XML file. Right, remember. So here also, let me go back to that state where I remove the transformation. I remove the transformation here. I do. I say, okay, no transformation needed or none, right, no transformation. And in the output also, I will say, the output file is XML, right. I just want to create the XML file so that I can see it for myself how it looks. So I go to Related Actions, Integration Launch. Okay, I don't want the new file name, I just want an XML file. Okay, I'll just wait for it to complete. Should not take long. Right, our file is ready. It is an XML file. I have saved it. And let me open up that XML file. Okay, so 1 second. XML file. Come on. Here it is. Here is my XML file. Okay. Now what I will do here is, I don't know what happened to my Notepad++ yesterday. I was able to do it now. I'm not. Alright, so I have a trick that I can do.